for joining us for another episode of the Church Communications Podcast. I'm your host, Daryl Girardier, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Katie Allred. Today's podcast is brought to you by Storytape.com. Storytape. Finally, one subscription, unlimited stock footage downloads, 5,000 plus clips in cinematic 4K ProRes, 1,000 plus clips added every single month. This is crazy. The average 4K stock video clip costs between $200 to $500. We've had enough of that. Storytape.com gives you access to unlimited cinematic stock footage at an affordable monthly cost. Best of all, instead of standalone clips, Storytape footage is grouped together in scenes to help you tell a story. Sign up today to get early access to Storytape.com. Again, that is Storytape.com. All righty. Katie, I'm going to ask the question, even though you and I talked about it beforehand. How are you doing?
I'm so sick. So it's so funny because, okay, so I left early today. Well, not really early. Actually, I ended up being there till 3:30. And I was like, really, Katie, you were planning on leaving at 1. So I didn't really leave early. So I was like, I don't know what to do right now. So I was supposed to be at work until like 7 because I was supposed to be doing a Facebook Live of the orchestra tonight. But I told our marketing director, Kay, I was like, I can't do this. So I taught her how to use the camera.
Okay, cool. Okay, that's good to know.
And yeah, so she did that tonight, which was great. I appreciate that. And yeah, so we're gonna make it through this. I might be hoarse by the end of it.
We're going to make it through because while you're not feeling 100%, if you're watching the video feed and you see me constantly looking down to my right-hand side, that's because there's an 8-month-old child who's sitting right below me because he's refusing to go to sleep tonight.
He's really cute, though.
So he's a cute kid. I may bring him up here if we need to fill some time.
If he starts yelling, we definitely
if he starts yelling, I'm grabbing the kid and bringing it up so you guys get to experience that in real time. Hey, but this episode is kind of like our Christmas episode, Katie.
It is. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes. So as you guys normally know, we usually cover stories about what's going on in the social media communications world. And we want to take a slight break from that. And we want to talk about some of our favorite things. So we're presenting to you.
It's like our Oprah.
Oprah's favorite things.
Katie and Daryl's favorite things.
Exactly. It's our Church Communicators Christmas wish list. So we've compiled a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to share with you in a document afterwards. And this is just basically all the stuff that we're really digging right now that we think you may dig, you may like, you want to check out. So all of this is stuff that we've loved that we want to share with you.
Yep.
So Katie, you want to dive in?
Yeah, let's get started. So the first thing on our Christmas wish list is a Mevo camera. So that's actually what I taught Kate how to use today, our marketing director. So Mevo cameras, I didn't think it was that cool or impressive when I saw them at NAB. We went and saw them and I told everyone not to buy it.
I remember that.
Which is funny. And then literally the minute we did buy it, finally, 3 years later, they came up with a plus one 3 weeks after we bought it and we couldn't take it back to Best Buy, which made me so mad. But what are you going to do? So anyways, but they now have 4K and basically you can use a Mevo to stream to Facebook Live. And it's just a really awesome, it's just a little great tool that you can use because you can do these really neat transitions without much without much work or effort. It's not the best for audio quality. I've had a hard time figuring out how to get better audio. I mean, of course you can connect it to a soundboard through your phone. Yeah. But that was a super complicated process for me, especially since I have an iPhone 7 without an audio jack. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we did it with an iRig thing, but it wasn't the best still. Mm-hmm. So I'm I still recommend it for one-on-one interviews or for quick sessions of music or something like that you want to do, but I don't think I necessarily recommend it to stream every single Sunday morning for you, unless you're just unless you're a church of 200 or less.
Yeah, I would say it's I think it's the perfect item if you're on a tight budget. If you're on hey, I got no cash, I've got this,
and I need to I want to start streaming.
It works great for that. I mean, it's just before we tested it out.
A very strong Wi-Fi signal.
Yes, that is one of the key things you and I realize that is if you don't have that strong Wi-Fi, it doesn't quite do. It just, you can see that it's a little bit lackluster in that sense. But Katie's right. I mean, it is a super small device. It's, I'm holding my fingers right now. It's like 2 or 3 inches tall, tops.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
it's very small.
Little canister. So again, but I would say, yeah, we saw it kind of unimpressed. We used it, definitely got impressed, and definitely thought we could definitely use that down the road.
Yeah.
All right, item number 2 is the Sony A600 or the Panasonic G7. Katie, you want to talk about some of these?
So it's actually the Sony A6000.
Oh, sorry, A6000. Sorry.
So the Sony A6000 is really cool because it's a mirrorless camera.
Yeah.
So, and they're pretty inexpensive. I mean, they're not super expensive. I'm actually kind of kicking myself because I bought like a T5i like a couple years ago, and it's not. I don't think it's as good as the Sony A6000. So, because I think I could be wrong. I don't know a ton about cameras, but everybody in our group seems to be like going on and on about get a Sony A6000 or get a Panasonic G7 if you don't have a huge budget, but you still want really great photography or video. You can also I know you can get a Canon adapter and use your lenses on these cameras. So that still gives you the Canon lens, but I think a really good quality. I don't know if they're even full frame, to be honest with you. I wish I was like way better at photography so I could tell you all these cool things about it. But I know I want it, like I'm still like over here like, but I want it. I've seen them, I should have bought it. I was so mad. I should have done it. At Sam's Club, they had like one on like, how Sam's Club has this like back row of like stuff that has been returned by people.
Yes.
Okay, so I saw like there was somebody who brought back an A6000. It was like $299.
Really?
Yeah, I probably should have been like, Daryl, can we buy these? It was. Should have. Yeah. It was. I mean, they're just. I just think it's a really cool, handy little thing. So anyway, I don't know, camera, and they just take amazing photos. I have some friends that have been using both of these, and I think the quality is just really great. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, I know the Sonys have I've always thought the Sonys have traditionally delivered some of the best qualities in terms of camera. When you compare it, if I couldn't get a Canon, I would get a Sony. They traditionally have just done a great job in terms of the quality. Yeah. Item number 3, Scribd, which I think is a wonderful pick.
Or maybe Scribd.
Scribd? Oh, I've always called it Scribd. You know what? Scribd makes so much more sense.
I don't know. It could be Scribd. I don't know. I think
I was thinking like a Scribd sheet, but your crib sheet. I don't know why, but it is Scribd. It's Scribd. You're right. I don't know. I'm in it. Yeah, Scribd. Yes. So, Katie, I know you recommended this item. I will vouch for it because I think of it like the Netflix of books is the way I would describe it. Books.
Yeah.
So kind of gives the audience kind of give an overview of it.
Yeah, I don't think people like really know about it. I feel like it's super like still like unknown as a tool, and that's like the worst because Scribd is the best. I've been using it for 2 years now, and basically it has loads and loads of audiobooks on it, and then also has ebooks, and now it has magazines. And then it also gives you, if you have a Scribd subscription, you can also use Blinkist, and it gives you, which is basically blinks of books, like small summaries of books.
Okay.
So that's really great. And then if you use Scribd, you also get Pocket or whatever, like a premium subscription to Pocket. You get a lot of premium subscription, like you get AudM, which is like AUDM, which is it reads you like The Atlantic and stuff. Like it'll read you.
Go back again. You said you get. Do you automatically with Scribd? Do you automatically get a subscription to Blinkist?
Yes. Yeah,
okay, that's worth the price.
Well, yeah, and plus you get the credits work like this. You get like 1 audiobook credit a month, and you can acquire up to 3. So say you don't use 1, then you can acquire up to 3, and then you get like 1 ebook a month, and then you can acquire up to like a few more of those. And they don't always have every book that I'm looking for, but between using Scribd and then using Overdrive, which is like through the library. Most libraries now have ebooks. Between those two, I can usually find any book that I'm looking for without having to actually buy it. So you're having to like borrow books essentially. Because Scribd, I mean, you're still not owning it. Like if you stopped subscribing to Scribd, it would go away, of course. But I really enjoy it for like just like casual reading or whatever. So I'm listening right now to the Power of Habit or whatever, which is really great.
That's a good book.
Yeah, but I've listened to like all of Mindy Kaling's books on there, and it's fantastic. I just can't recommend it enough. It's like $100 a year.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Right, I feel like it's a good gift too.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, there were 3 or 4 companies that tried to do this model, and it's the one that stood the test of time and actually made it out.
Yeah, there was that Oyster one.
Yep, Oyster's the other one. Yep.
Yeah, and I never got into that. I'd gotten into Scribd instead because they had a little more variety. They mostly had they had more business books, and Oyster mostly had more fiction books. And so that's why I wanted Scribd. But, Scribd also has fiction books and they have plenty of like fun books as well, not just business or self-help or whatever. So I just recommend it. Look into it and see. We're going to give you a link to it. So
that is awesome. All right. Number 4, Hue Lights. I think these are Philips. Does Philips make the Hue Lights? Is that the manufacturer? I think it is. Yeah, Philips Hue Lights. Yeah, so these are fun because we can program these based off of these are light bulbs or smart light bulbs that we can program via if this then that. Mm-hmm. So basically, you can program it so that when certain people email you, the light bulb turns red. Like your past emails you, like all of a sudden your office turns red.
Yeah, or you can do it where somebody tweets at the church and it turns blue. Yes. So, it's kind of a nice physical reminder of something maybe that's going on online that you need to know about, where you don't have to necessarily always have your phone. So, I don't know. I just think Hue Lights are really cool. You can also schedule them to turn on and off and that kind of stuff, which is nice. Yeah. But I love the color features. So, they have white lights and they have the color lights. I think the color lights are cooler, but they're more expensive. So,
that's awesome. That's awesome. And we have a number, actually, technically, this should be item number 5 on the list. And that is Ferrisees. You can't put this on here. I have no idea what this is. I'm interested to find out. It's Ferrisees, the party game.
Yeah. So actually, Elle Campbell's in our group, and she's actually the person over at Stuff You Can Use, the youth ministry group. Yeah. And I'm in their youth ministry group, and everybody in their youth ministry group is talking about this game that they made, which is called Pharisees, the party game. So it's basically Pharisees versus the disciples in this new take on a classic party game. It's like Mafia, but with a lot more Bible verses. So have you ever played the game Werewolves?
No.
Well, from what I understood from reading about it on their group, it's a lot like Werewolves. So, if you've ever played that game, I don't know if anybody in our group, feel free to talk up if you've played Werewolves. It's apparently like Werewolves, but with Pharisees. And instead of being like a werewolf, you get to be Judas.
Wow. Okay. That's a turn I didn't see coming.
It is, yeah. I think it's so funny, and I just think it's such a fun turn on a game where we can make fun of ourselves a little bit. So I think it's cool. And I think it would be fun to play with your staff, as a team.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So.
All right. Item number 6. This is a book recommendation. This is The Power of Habit, which I think you put in there, but I think I've read the summary of this book, and I want to say I've maybe read a portion of this book. I think I read this. I get this book confused with the book Willpower. So it's a really good, and my understanding is this is the science of how habits are formed and then how habits can turn around and create long-lasting change.
Right. Yeah. Right now I'm in it, and it's talking about small wins, how one small win can affect an overarching can create or catalyst, it can be a catalyst to major change.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I was talking about Michael Phelps and how he has a routine, and because he's had this routine since he was 12 of how he swims and exactly how he does it, he doesn't necessarily need anything else besides that routine. So it's really cool in the story in the book. It was talking about Phelps when he went to swim the butterfly, I think, at the Olympics in Japan, in Beijing.
Yeah.
Well, that's not Japan. Beijing. Anyway, I don't know. Obviously, I'm great at stuff right now. I'm sick.
China.
So everybody give me just a moment. So anyway, it talked about he actually got water in his goggles when he was swimming. Like he realized, like when he started swimming, his goggles were filling up with water, and so he was like, "Okay, what do I do?" Well, because he had made a habit of swimming in the dark, like his coach made him swim in the dark when he was growing up, so that if he was ever in a situation where he lost his sight, he would still be able to like accomplish his goal. So he had swam the pool so many times, he knew the lengths of like how many strokes it would take for him to get from one end to the other. So he just counted his strokes back and forth. And when he finally got back to the wall and made it back for and he had, finished the race, people were cheering. He didn't realize what they were doing. When he took off his goggles, he realized he had won a world record of doing like the fastest, and he did it blind. Like that's the crazy. Like that's the crazy thing. Done it blind and still won. Like if he hadn't done it blind, like how fast would he have done it? And that's because he had set up all these habits to where like even when he wasn't performing at his best, he was still performing better than everyone else. So
I do know that he's extremely rigorous in routines, and they talk about the fact that if you, in other words, it's the same song he listens to, he does this, he walks over, does this and this and this, and so you're right. He forms those little habits, which in turn allow him to excel. Yeah, and
and that's something I wish I gotten really good at this in high school and somewhat in college, and I feel like after I've been out on my own, I kind of like, I should do things again, but I need to get back into habits, and I think this book is such a good catalyst, maybe to like being like, okay, you need to form these habits again. Like I used to. This is gonna sound like the silliest habit ever. Everybody, just get ready. So I used to listen to R. Kelly's "World's Greatest" before every test.
Of course.
Every test. I had a 4.0 in college, and in my graduate program, I had a 4.0. So I'm not saying that like it's like the best like habit ever, but tests really suck me out. Like they really make me super nervous, and I had to have something that calmed me down, and like that just worked every time for some reason. So I'd listen to it on the way to class, and then I'd be ready to take that test, and usually I do fine. So I know that habits are like important. Everybody's like laughing at me.
Yes, they are.
It's okay. It's totally fine. I mean, I laugh at myself about it too. I'm like, why are you doing this, Kate?
I like that. By the way, I like it when you're sick, because when you're sick, you overshare. So I love this. Yes, so this is great.
You're welcome. We're just talking about the Power of Habit book, and here I am talking about R. Kelly. Anyway, so things work for people, so that's me. All right, so let's move on to number 7.
Number 7 is, okay, I put this in here. It's a smartphone video rig. And I would show it to you. However, my wife has stolen it. And so basically what it is, it's a very easy smartphone video rig that basically, if you would imagine, it gives you 2 handles on the side of your phone, and then it gives you 2 mounts to put a microphone and a light, so you can carry the whole thing in one rig, if you will. So each hand's on the side of the phone, and then you got a light and a speaker mounted, and you could even have another mount on the bottom that actually can mount to a tripod or monopod or whatever you're using. So basically it turns your entire phone into like a really easy portable camera rig. So I like it a lot. I've used it and set it up. Actually, we shot some training videos on it. It's turned my phone into a really good video lighting rig. And so I like it super portable. It's really light. You throw it in your backpack and then slide your phone in, slide some other stuff in, like a Rode mic. And then this next thing we're gonna talk about in a second, an LED light. I like it. It's great. Again, if you are like if your phone is your video camera, it's a super easy setup. If you're shooting like countdown to worship videos, announcement videos, whatever it is, it's a super cool rig. Number 8 is a thing I think goes along with it. And by the way, the other reason I like the smartphone video rig is like if you find them on Amazon, they're like $18, which is like dirt cheap considering if you pay like for like an iRig. You are like one of those, you can spend it up to like $100. This thing's like $20. So it's like way worth it. The dimmable LED light that you can buy with it, I like because it's roughly under 30. They're like 25 to 30, and it's a really great LED light that you can throw on top of your phone with the smartphone video rig that basically allows you to create a dimmable light that's either natural or fluorescent, and you can easily get a good, nice flood across your subject as you're videotaping them. The cool thing about it is that these are designed to be stackable and combine them, so you can actually buy like 2 or 3 of them and stack them all together and create a wall of these LED lights and turn them all off, and then you can dim them. They get dimmable switches on them. So I like them because I think they are pretty good value for what you're paying. You're paying like $25-$30 for a light. You pay maybe $20 for the smart video rig, so about $50-$55 you can actually have a pretty decent video rig, all based off of your phone being the main camera. So I like them. They're really, really kind of nice.
I wish I was better at like lighting. I'm so terrible at. Obviously, you can tell in this wonderful video how great.
Yeah, this is definitely not.
This is our quality podcast.
Exactly. All right. Number 9 is a book that I'm actually currently reading right now. It's called Tools of Titans. It's the tactics, routines, and habits of billionaires, icons, and world-class performers. This book is by Tim Ferriss. If you've ever listened to his podcast, this is basically, he took his podcast and turned it into a book. And so took all the best of the interviews and kind of put them all together and kind of said, hey, here's the best of the podcast. And I will tell you, I love the book because you can cherry pick. You don't have to read it straight through. You can say, I want to read about athletes, and you can pick an athlete, or I want to read about, whatever that is. Arnold Schwarzenegger's chapter is like absolutely hilarious because he just talks about the craziness of like his life and what he did before he became a movie star. But it's got really practical stuff. Like Malcolm Gladwell talks to you about even stuff like what Malcolm Gladwell eats for breakfast, which may seem like a mundane thing, but you kind of pick up these patterns that these people do, like
habits.
You can find out their habits, like their morning routines. So I like that because, I mean, again, it's some really good stuff that you can pull from. And the cool thing about it is that you don't have to read it all the way through, just pick up some stuff, but there's some really just cool, fun stuff in the book. So that's Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss. Number 10. Oh, Katie put number 10.
Number 10 is PopSockets.
PopSockets. Tell us about PopSockets.
This is mine. It has pizza on it for the people who are watching. So I love PopSockets. I just think they're so great. You can grip your phone with them so you don't drop it on your face, So I don't have to, and it's easier to hold while you're filming or whatever. Yep. It's just so much more stable. And also you won't drop it on your face when you're like watching The Office at night on your phone. And I just think it's great, and you can use it as a kickstand too. So if you're like watching video on your desk or something, you can use it that way. I just think it's super handy. It's not like the world's best thing yet, but I feel like it's so close to being like a really great thing that I'm like, it's totally worth it for $10. So I've gone through a couple actually, because I feel like I guess I'm pretty rough to things. But I just really love them.
I thought they were the stupidest thing in the world until I actually got one, and then I was like, they still look stupid, but they're totally useful.
Yeah, it really
totally useful. Like I totally, especially if you have an iPhone, especially if you have a Samsung, if you have a Samsung Galaxy with the larger ones, or an iPhone 8, the Plus models.
I have a Plus.
That's when they really. That's when you really kind of can like really see, you can really see the use for case for.
Yeah.
So there you go. PopSockets at number 10. Number 11 is something that Katie and I use every single day.
And we love it.
Every single day. We love these things so much. I want to buy one for my own house.
Yes, we're going
That is the autonomous.
That's our plan.
Yes, that's our plan. Yay. I will tell you, it is the autonomous standing desk.
Yep.
These things are amazing.
They're way better than any of the other standing desks. We've seen some that have hand cranks, or you have to push and hold the button if it has a motor. This has settings so you can set it to where you sit and where you stand, depending on how tall and whatever you are. And it's just super, super nice. It has like, you can set 4 settings. I've only set 2 because I don't know what else you would be doing, like crouching. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's your other setting? But So I have sitting and standing, and it's just like really great to be able to stand during the work day, because sometimes it's just so much nicer to be able to think standing. So
well, yeah, I would tell you, I'm a huge proponent of standing desks, period. I think everybody should use them. I think sitting is bad for you. But the cool thing about these desks is actually price-wise, when you look at them, if you go with the base model, it's like $299, I think is what the base model is right now. And honestly, if you go and compare online, that's actually dirt cheap when you compare them to other desks.
Every
it's
other
a
desk.
full-featured standing automated desk for only $299. If you think that's a lot of money, go research it. It is dirt cheap compared to
the business edition. I think is $349, right?
Yep.
So that's what we got, because it has a 5-year warranty and has 2 motors rather than just one.
Yep.
So
I want to be able to stand fast.
Right. Oh, there goes my phone. Thanks, Mom, for calling. She's obviously not watching the podcast, Mom. So the next thing is, and also we'll share a link so you can get $25 off the standing desk, and you should definitely buy one if you have budget left over.
Totally should. Totally worth it.
It's the best. Yeah. Okay. So the next thing is Deep Work, Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World by Cal Newport. This was assigned reading by Daryl to our staff, or to our department and our creative team, if you will.
I made so many enemies out of assigning this book.
No, it was great. I think like what we really realized is that right now, the way that we work does not allow for deep work.
Right. And that is
so,
a problem.
Yeah. So like, how can we create culture and strategies to do more deep work is really kind of still the question, but it's still nice to know like this is how you can do it. So
yeah. Yes, you're right. By the way, Andrew, Andrew's asking in the chat room whether or not we're gonna have a link for the desk. Yeah, we're gonna, after this is over, we're gonna give you guys a PDF with the link for all of this stuff. Yes, so I recommend Deep Work because it's written by Cal Newport. Cal Newport is a computer science professor out of Georgetown University. I suggest you read any of his books. So Good They Can't Ignore You, and obviously Deep Work. And he's really, really good at helping you understand that if you want to do the really, really good work, you've got to be able to really do deep, focused work over a period of time. In other words, you need to be able to step away and say, hey, I'm going to spend a couple hours just diving in on this topic. And I will tell you, I followed his advice and I've done that. And I'll tell you, when I have those deep moments, when I've really just zeroed in, that's when I've had some of my best epiphanies, if you will, and work. So it's hard given the nature of our work as church communicators doing that, but I will tell you the value is definitely there.
I think like the thing is to schedule a time for you to do deep work. The problem is finding what deep work you want to do.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Like, cause you're assigned so many minute tasks, and you're like, okay, is there any of these tasks that can be considered deep, or are they all like, just like 2 minute, 3 minute, 10-minute task, and then there's nothing that allows you to think longer. So like for me, like creating a whole website, like, okay, that's deep work because I've got to like think about the design, and then I have to think about the content and where I want to place it and how it looks and all that kind of stuff. But like if I'm just adding Christmas to all the websites, that's not deep work. It's just like I just have to do it. So I'm like,
you gotta get done.
It's just one of those things. I don't feel like it, my brain isn't working at all. It's just like, gotta do it. So yeah, that's the hard part about finding deep work in our jobs. So
definitely is. All right. You want to tell us about item number 13? Yeah.
Number 13 is WeMo Outlets. So I actually have, a knockoff brand of these, and I love them. So I'm going to recommend WeMo because I think that they're way better than what I have currently.
Yep.
So that's like what I aspire to having. So you can schedule your lamps, your coffee pots, your fans, all that stuff. You can schedule it, or you can turn it on or off with your phone. And I tell you what, since I can turn off my like lamps and stuff now with my phone, and I can schedule them even when I'm not at home. See, like that lamp behind me is about to go off. Yeah. Anyway, so it's so much fun because not just so much fun, but it's like so handy because like I rather than setting an alarm in the morning, I set my lamp to come on and then I just wake up because my lamp's on. So it's just like it's just a great time saver. You can also use IFTTT with the WeMo outlets too.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Yeah, they're pretty sweet stuff. All right, item number 14, and this is an item. Did we buy this last year or the year before? I can't remember. We bought
the year before, and I wish we had used it, but we didn't really. I use it, though, personally all the time, and I know there's so many people in our group who also use it. It's a Neuyear Calendar.
And we spelled New Year, by the way. It's the European way of spelling new, I guess you would say. It's N-E-U. Y-E-A-R, the Neuyear Calendar. And so Katie, what about this calendar is unique?
It is great because it's a 1 year calendar. It's just huge. It's just, I actually have it over here on my wall, but it's just like, and it's also a whiteboard so you can erase. You can get like a paper version or a whiteboard version. I pay like the extra $10 for it to be a whiteboard or laminated, essentially. Yeah. And what's great is that you can see the whole year at a glance. So it's bigger. It's like probably the size of like a normal movie poster, I would say.
Right.
And you can just see the whole year. You can either decide on if you want it to start on Sunday or Monday. Yeah. And it's just great to be able to see, hey, I'm doing these things at this time, and where's my year going, and where has it gone? Because it's nice to be able to see, oh yeah, I did all these things, and that kind of stuff, and planning and whatnot. You can really see your time more efficiently than you can in a planner or even on your calendar on your phone. Yeah. So for me personally, I just think it's such a great, easy tool to be like, okay, this is what I'm doing and how I'm planning my time. So.
Yeah, it's funny. It's visually jarring at first. Like the first time you unfolded that thing, you brought it in the office, I was like, okay, that's really weird. Like it took me a second to kind of wrap my mind around it. Then once you see it, you go, oh. Once you wrap your mind around it, you go, oh, that makes complete sense. That's exactly probably how you should be organizing the calendar. And that kind of flow of a year versus just this 12-month chunks, if you will. So yeah, it's a pretty cool item. So that's it. That's all 14 items. I think that's right. That's what we got, Katie, right? These 14 items right here. These are our wish list. So here's what we're going to do, folks. If you're interested in these items, we in just a few moments are going to turn around and take this link and we're going to dump it into the show notes. We're going to dump it into the Facebook group, put it on the Facebook page. We're going to put a whole bunch of different places for you to get captured. Check a lot of this stuff out. We'd love for you to kind of see maybe some of this stuff. And hey, you know what? In the comments section, maybe mention some of your own ideas of stuff that you think should be on the wish list as well. We'd love to hear from you what you want.
Yeah, we'll add them.
Yeah. So we're going to have all this stuff will be in the show notes and it'll be in the list we're about to drop in there in a second. So, but once again, we want to say thank you for everybody for watching and everybody for listening. If you're on the podcast, if you're listening to the podcast, check us out, subscribe on iTunes. If you are watching online, if you get the share button, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We'd appreciate that. Well, and by the way, if you're watching or listening and you're not a part of our Facebook group, we'd love for you to join. Just hit us up. Just search for Church Communications when you go to Facebook. With the first link that pops up, click to join, and we'd love to have you to be a part of that group. So we hope you guys are enjoying this week. I know a lot of you are preparing for Christmas like we are. You're in the throes. You are just going hard at it.
It's fine. No one's getting sick.
Nobody's just hunker down, and we will see you next week. Katie will be better. I will not have an 8-month-old strapped to my right side like I do right now.
Who knows?
Maybe I'll have the 8-month-old and the 5-year-old. We'll just bring the whole family in.
It'll be great.
So there we go. All right. You guys have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.